Welcome to another episode of First Past the Post podcast. I'm delighted to say we're finally back after a couple months since our last episode where we interviewed Jim Crowley and Liam. Delighted to say we're back on tonight. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, like I say, we've been away for a little while. We've both been on our holidays, and I've just finished with university, so it's been a bit of a busy sort of last 2 months for the pair of us. So yeah, we're finally back. So hopefully we'll be back with plenty more episodes from now until the near future as well, mate. So yeah, did you have a good trip in Germany?
Yeah, mate. It was really good, and I know you went to Greece, and it looked like you had a good time as well. Like you say, we've been away for a while, but we're back now for the future. So let's see what it holds.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Greece was lovely, mate. Recommend it if you haven't been. So yeah, I mean, obviously we've been back in this week, glorious Goodwood Festival. Really been enjoying it. How are you finding it, mate? I think it's been quite entertaining so far.
Yeah, there's been a few cracking races. I mean, the obvious one, the Goodwood Cup, the battle between Kyprios and Stradivarius. I mean, I can't remember the last time I see a flat race as enjoyable as that one. I don't know about you, but it was a cracker, wasn't it?
Yeah, and obviously we'll touch on that as we're gonna look back at the last few days at Goodwood so far. And we're also going to be previewing the last day, which is on this upcoming Saturday, giving our selections for the weekend. So, as you mentioned it, mate, we'll get straight into it. Really, on the first day, Tuesday just gone, the Goodwood Cup, like you say, the battle between Kyprios, Strad, and Trushan as well. I
Hmm.
mean, like you say, I mean, it was a hell of a horse race, wasn't it? And I think a lot of people, including ourselves, were sort of shouting, for Strad to come home strong, and he certainly did that. But he just got done, didn't he, by Kyprios again?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, um, I sort of didn't have my doubts over Kyprios. So obviously, Kyprios is a really good horse. But after last time, when there was, the whole saga with Frankie didn't get a clear run,
Mm.
and Andrea Atzini took the ride this time, I thought maybe the form could be overturned, but it's sort of clear now that Kyprios is the better horse, and he's going to go on and be some stayer for the next few years for sure. But I'd just like to say about Stradivarius, what a horse he is to do that at the age of 8 years old. I mean, he's some serious horse, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was meant to be the day where he retires after that race, and I don't think many people were probably expecting him to actually go so close. And I
Hmm.
think, like with his age, obviously being 8, and he's beating sort of comfortably younger horses as well, and
Yeah,
they're not really no mugs either. So it's good that we hear the news that he's going to continue, and obviously on to York for him, which hopefully
You can't,
I'll
you can't, you can't retire him off the back of that,
no,
can you? I
not
mean,
at all.
he finished ahead of Trushan. I know Trushan would like softer ground, but
Mm,
Trushan is an excellent
yeah.
horse himself. So you can't, and he came within a neck of Kyprios.
Mm.
You know, you just can't retire him. I don't think, not at the moment.
No, it was some run, and I think to mention as well, like, he drifted out big time, didn't he? As well to 9-2, he went off.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, I mean, it was a huge drift, really, and I mean, I weren't concerned because I really thought, this is it. He's going to bow out on a high, but
Hmm.
thank goodness for so many fans of his, including us, like we get to see him again. So
Yeah,
yeah, looking forward to probably his farewell at York, which I'll be there for. So I'm buzzing to see him in the flesh for the
brilliant.
first time. So yeah, that was the brilliant Goodwood Cup on the Tuesday. Just moving on to the Wednesday. Obviously, we had a few standouts, didn't we, yesterday, mate?
Yeah,
Rocket Rodney was well fancied um, in the Molecombe Stakes, and obviously Trillium, Richard Hannon's filly got the better, and looks a very exciting horse.
I was really impressed. Very impressed. I mean, I really thought Rocket Rodney was a
Mm,
banker, if I'm being honest with you. And for Trillium to go and do that, I was really taken aback.
mm,
She certainly seemed like a filly to keep on side. one to put in the tracker. And I mean, what was it, 7-1?
Yep.
I think she was. I mean, I don't know who priced that up because she looked she looked incredible.
Yeah, no, spot on. And obviously, Rocket Rodney went off at Even's favourite, and yeah, I think he looked very strong last time out previous, and I was expecting him to
Hmm.
get the job done. But Trillium, like you said, at that price, a filly where she's come onto the scene yesterday, and people have thought, oh, she looks quite decent. So
Hmm.
yeah, very exciting horse there who won the Malcolm, and then obviously the big one, Baid. I mean, is there is there anything else to say about this horse now?
He's just incredible, isn't he, mate? The thing is, he's doing things now where he just gets the job done.
Mm,
Like Jim Crowley said, he's not going to go and win a race by 5 or 6 lengths, but he does what he needs to do. And obviously, he's the highest rated horse in the world, rightly so.
mm,
He's going to step up in trip next time out for the Juddmonte International, and then he'll retire off the back of the Champion Stakes if all goes well. If
yeah,
not, he'll drop back down to a mile, but I think he'll be able to step up
yeah.
comfortably in trip.
So
And it'll be a sad day when he retires, but I mean the money's at stud, isn't it? So
mm, that's just it's a shame, isn't it, with flat horses? I
mm,
mean, probably comes to mind St Mark's Basilica, really.
yeah,
He ran hardly any, not for really a long duration whatsoever, and then obviously goes off to stud. But Baid 9 out of 9. Probably like you say, two more races left with him,
hmm,
if all goes well. So yeah, hopefully he'll make it 11 out of 11, unbeaten career, and we can just say we've witnessed another remarkable horse, really.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure he'll do it.
And just another one really that I thought, I mean, I think you as well, mate, was quite taken by yesterday. The Platinum Queen for
Hmm.
Richard Farhey for Midland Park Racing. If I'm not mistaken, did she break the track record?
I believe so. Yeah, and obviously clocked a better time than the winner of the Moulcom,
Mm,
who we just touched on, Trillium. So I think it was the Midland Park racing manager afterwards said he was sort of kicking himself that he didn't go for the Moulcom instead.
yeah,
But she looked very impressive. I don't know how many lengths it was by in the end, but she looked very, very good.
and that was only her fourth run, and she's actually won three of those four as well.
Hmm.
So looks quite an exciting horse there.
Yeah.
Just definitely impressed me, and yeah, it was an absolute rocket. And just obviously, we've had today's action as well, so a few standouts today before we go into Saturday's preview. The Royal Scotsman for Jim Crowley, again, another one who we obviously interviewed Jim Crowley, and he spoke about this horse a little bit, didn't he?
Yeah.
Saying he thinks it's a very smart horse, and obviously the form was like it just worked out perfectly, really, from the Coventry Stakes, and he got absolutely smashed in and got the job done really impressively. What did you think?
Another impressive performance, and like you say, Jim Crowley said that he'd sat on him before,
Mm,
and he was really impressed, and he thought he could be a smart horse, and he showed that today. And I'm sure he's got more big races in him.
yeah,
Definitely another one to keep on side as well.
yeah, very exciting. And then obviously today you had the Nassau Stakes, Nashwa, Holly Doyle, one over in France, one today. Yet again, I mean, looks a very, very impressive horse. You know, and I think for Holly Doyle as well to ride the winner on this horse over in France and today, it just shows how good she is at the moment, how good she is in general. But at the moment, she's on fire, isn't she?
I thought she gave Nashwa a
Yeah.
brilliant ride. She was right out the back, and I thought she's going to have to come here with something special
Mm,
because she had a lot of ground to make up. But in the end, I mean, she done what was had to be done, and it was like you say, pretty impressive, and showed a great turn of foot as well.
yeah, really, really like the look of that horse. Obviously,
Hmm.
the daughter of Frankel as well. Um, so yeah, yet another exciting one, and you could probably say Nashwa's sort of definitely progressed and impressed more compared to the likes of Inspiral and sort of Emily Upjohn, really, especially on the last couple of runs with them. So yeah,
Well,
Nashwa's.
we were saying the other day, I think a lot of these 3-year-olds we're seeing at the moment are sort of been quite disappointing, and it
Mm,
hasn't sort of panned out how we would have liked. I mean, Emily Upjohn, she got beat by Tuesday,
mm,
and then Westover then went to go on to beat Tuesday over in Ireland, and then Westover got turned over in the King George as well as Emily Upjohn, and
yeah.
it's like after last year, a lot of the 3-year-olds sort of didn't show up this year.
Mm,
Like you look at Hurricane Lane, and it just hasn't worked out for him. We're yet to see Adayar again, so who knows what's going to happen there. But
yeah.
it's just hopefully, maybe hopefully they can train on as 4-year-olds. But I must say, over the last month or so, I've found the 3-year-olds quite disappointing.
It's just been a bit of an anticlimax, hasn't it?
Yeah,
They look so
yeah,
exciting, but they just,
yeah.
yeah, don't know what's happening really. Like you
Yeah.
say, it's probably just not training on, but it could.
I mean, the only one you can really say has been super impressive is Desert Crown.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I mean, it's unfortunate we haven't seen him since the derby as well.
he's got a knock, hasn't he? So
Yeah.
hopefully he'll be back soon, and maybe he'll go to the Arc. I think they'd want to
Mm,
run before that, but I don't know if he'll get one in.
mm.
Hopefully,
Yeah, no, spot on, mate. So, yeah, there are a few standouts obviously so far and during the week. So, should we go on to the Saturday then? Final day of the festival, our preview. Do you want to kick it off, mate?
yeah. So the 105 Goodwood, I've gone for Loyal Touch, 5-1. He's a no-name never colt who cost 100,000 guineas as a yearling. He's got an entry for the Champagne Stakes. He kept on well on debut for third, and it was sort of a sort of a bunch finish at Salisbury. Good to firm ground. He started favourite, and I think the form does look a bit iffy, but I think he's open to a lot of improvement off the back of that run. So that's the one I've gone for.
Yeah, I've gone for the Foxes. Andrew Balding,
Mm-hmm.
David Probert rides. A Churchill colt who cost 440,000 guineas as a yearling. And holds an entry in the 2023 Derby. Quite an
Mm-hmm.
interesting note with this horse. And made sort of an encouraging debut in an above average maiden at Newbury over 6 furlongs. And that form sort of worked out quite well since
Yeah.
that race. And sort of the horse had a bit of a lesser effort in the Cheshire, but should do better in this sort of race with these horses. And yeah, I think sort of make him a major player really. And I think
Mm-hmm.
that entry in the Derby just excites me really. What could potentially come with this horse?
Yeah.
So the Foxes for me in 105.
Moving on to the second race, the 140. I've gone for the favourite Lethal Levi, currently 7-4. He's a front running 3-year-old. His form has been very progressive as of late. He's on a sort of an upward curve. He was impressive last time out at Newmarket. He won over 6 furlongs. That's actually his third win of the season. And even though he's got a penalty on his back here, he's actually £9 ahead of his current mark, and he should get his conditions here for this race. So I think in his current form, he'll be difficult to beat for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll join you with that one,
Also,
mate.
sorry, just to note, you've got Pierre Louis Hamlin on board, who's a £3 claimer as well. So even
Yeah,
better.
yeah, I'm with you, mate. Lethal Levi for me as well. I think you got it spot on. I think this horse is in the form of its life at the moment, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you made an important point with the penalty. He's £9 ahead of his mark, and condition shouldn't really be an issue either. And I just think with the current form this horse is in, it looks very, very hard to beat. So
Yeah,
yeah, Lethal
hard
Levi
to
for
look
me,
past him for sure.
definitely. And
Um, moving on to the next race, I believe it's the 210. I've gone for Kemhan, Holly Doyle riding. She scored. He scored twice on fast ground in the spring. Some very strong form in them races. Finished seventh in a 1 mile 4 handicap at Royal Ascot last time out. He wasn't disgraced that day, but he's back up in trip here. He may still have more to offer. He's running over 1 mile 6 here, and he's 2 out of 2 over the trip. So I think at 8-1, it's definitely a bit of value for me.
Yeah, interesting pick with obviously, as we mentioned earlier, Holly Doyle on board. I don't think you
Yeah,
can knock any of her rides at the moment, really.
definitely.
I've gone for Soapy Stevens for Charlie and Mark Johnson's team. I mean, they've really, they've been on fire recently, especially the start of the week at Goodwood. And you can't really knock their record at the track as well. And this yard has won this race in particular 4 times in the last 7 years as well. So I think this horse, Soapy Stevens, has got really strong credentials. Right, right at the top of his game, winning his last 2 races, having shown a career best form with his Class 2 wins at Chester over 2 miles and Newmarket over 1 mile 6. Um, and sort of the form's working out well. And I think he could really improve further. And obviously, he's got the distance form winning at Newmarket 1 mile 6, and obviously this race same distance as well. So yeah, I
Mhm.
think this horse will continue improving and hopefully go for its hat trick bid.
Brilliant. Moving on to the next race, the 2:45. It's gone for Emily Dickinson. Aidan O'Brien. Brian Moore takes a ride. She's a 3-year-old. She went close in a Group 3 at Leopardstown over 1 mile 6. And then she kept on well for fourth. Fourth of 7 in the Irish Oaks over 1 mile 4. 9 days later, probably wasn't a very strong renewal, but it's a step back up in trip here, and I think that could well suit her. Also, she's got, I think it's £12 on the favourite Sela Rossa, so I'd be tempted to be backing her here rather than the favourite.
Yeah, you mentioned the favourite. I've gone with her.
Mm-hmm.
um, Obviously, Silla Rosa for William Haggis and Tom Marquand. Sort of last season was quite progressive in her campaign, winning listed win at Lingfield over 1 mile 5 on the all weather, and she continued the good work with a Group 3 win at Haydock on good ground, and then a runner up in a Group 2. So you can see the clear progression there.
Mm-hmm.
And that was obviously last time out. Effective on fast ground, and I think this distance wouldn't be a problem, within range for sure. And yeah, I think this race will probably take less winning than at the last. And I think she's got leading claims really. I just really like the way she's progressing at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Moving on to the 20 past 3. I've gone for Inver Park, trained by George Bowie. Inver Park is actually a Royal Ascot winner. I had a bet on him that day in the big handicap, and he won for me at a nice price. He's improved with every run for new connections. I just think he's an unexposed 4-year-old, and with the way his form's going since he's been with new connections, sorry, he's won over 6 furlongs, 7 furlongs, so he can do both trips. And I think he's a horse firmly on the up. So he's one to keep on side for me, especially after I backed him last time out and he won. So 9-1, I think, is a very good price.
Hoping he can do it again then, eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is obviously the Stewards Cup massive handicap.
Mm-hmm.
Quite challenging to really pick out a few that you feel strongly about. But I've actually gone for Andrew Balding's horse, Chill Chill.
Yeah.
Uh, Harry Davis, obviously young jockey on board apprentice, claiming 5, and this is his first handicap run since beating the Great Ambassador at Newmarket in May 2021. And obviously, you to look at the form, it's not really been great. But then, he was close third in a Group 1 Betfair sprint at Haydock in September.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not bad, sort of for sort of previous run before this. And I think it's important with this horse, sort of a fast pace in the race will be really important. And with Harry Davis's claim on board, can't knock it, and that can only help. So chill for me in the 320.
Moving on to the 3:55, I've gone for Zero Carbon. Holly Doyle taking the ride again. Um, Last time out on his handicap and turf debut, he actually beat Spirit of Nguru, who's above him in the market here. That was just 4 weeks ago. He sort of run like a front running performance, but I thought he'd done really well to hold on when it was sort of getting to the nitty gritty of the end of the race. I don't think he'll sort of be able to do that again here with a few of the other horses running. But like I say, he's another 3-year-old who's heading in the right direction. Not sure if he'll like the faster ground, so that's my only question mark. But yeah, I'm happy to take 5-1 and have a punt, especially at the weights as well.
Yeah, interesting pick, mate. I've gone for Koi Koi for George Bowie, Ryan Moore on board. So I've only got home really on his previous run when a short price favourite on his stable debut at Newmarket over a mile on good to firm ground only 2 weeks ago. But it was quite a tactical affair and sort of did well to come through and really win that race. He dug deep, and I think only getting nudged up £2, I think this horse is probably deserving of being quite a contender for this race. And I'm sure there'll be quite a prominent showing to challenge once again with Ryan Moore on board. So I don't think the £2 will matter that much necessarily. And yeah, I fancy him to go close certainly again.
Moving on to the last race, the 4:30. I've gone for Kitsune Power for Roger Varian. He came 12th out of 30 last time at 50-1. I don't think it was too bad a performance, especially in a big field like that. That was at Royal Ascot. But previously to that, he was a very progressive horse. His form was reading 2-1, 2-1. So he's in a lot calmer waters this time. And I think he could play a leading role here.
Yeah, interesting. I've gone for Jim Crowley aboard a Gero for Kim Bailey, where you think, hang on, isn't that a jump horse? But
Yeah.
he was obviously a useful hurdler. He's transferred to the flat this season and finished second over 1 mile 2 on his first 3 runs. And
Yeah.
sort of he ran a cracker when second of 18 in his handicap debut at Royal Ascot. And he's no real match for the winner, but he travelled well and sort of went clear out 2 out at Royal Ascot. So I think dropping trip is quite an interesting move for this horse, and I think certainly enters calculations, and it'd be interesting to see if he can progress what he's done on the flat so far, finishing second. So quite an interesting selection, and I think Ajero will go quite well in this.
Brilliant.
So there are selections for the final day of the Goodwood Festival. And just to mention, obviously, because we haven't done one for a little while, the scoring system between the pair of us, obviously, just to remind anyone who's maybe new listening and not sure how it works, we get 3 points for a winner, 2 points for finishing second, and a point for third. And as it stands so far from previous episodes, this campaign, we're actually drawing, mate, at 21 all. So
just to mention there as well, we usually put up a nap and we get 5 points for a nap. However, at the moment, there aren't many odds out for this weekend's racing. So if you do want to catch our naps, then go and follow us on Twitter at FPTP Podcast, and we'll be putting our naps out on maybe Friday or Saturday morning.
Yeah, definitely. And like Liam said, follow us on Twitter and subscribe to us on YouTube at First Past the Post Podcast, and be sure to check out our previous episode as well. A couple months ago, we interviewed Jim Crowley, and it was fascinating really to speak to him. So check that out, and hopefully everyone continues to enjoy the final couple of days of the Goodwood Festival, and we'll be back soon. So thank you for listening, and take care. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.